I can't. I can't. I love. Good morning. It is the Going On Daily Live morning show. Already some chaos in the studio, but we got a great show. I'm your host, Ron Rigo. My co-host today, Lena. How are you?
Woohoo! I'm doing good. I'm still waking up. It's Saturday. We're all in Rhode Island. So it's a crappy, rainy day. That's okay. It's all right.
Absolutely. So you have a power outage. It seems. Your light went out.
Yes. I have a ring camera, like a little ring light that I've had for a while, and it died on me. And of course, being old and senile, I keep forgetting to order another one or fix the one I
I know how
have.
that feels.
So yeah, I had
I
a
don't know if
lamp.
you're quite as
I
you're
had
not
a
as
lamp
quite as
there, and
old as I am.
well, we'll talk about that later. um, I'm old enough to keep having weird brain farts about what I'm supposed to replace. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying not to do is kill people looking by like having a lamp in front of me because it was just I think it could be wrong. I think it was too harsh. So we did a trial
Yeah.
backstage and I thought it was
Well,
bad.
you could have wore the sunglasses and stuff like that,
I could have, but
Could have
I
done
don't
that.
care. I just didn't want everybody else to be just
No, I can
horrified
see you, so
by each crater
it's
of my
not
face.
terrible.
Good.
Like when we had Adam on the show, you couldn't see him. Like you literally couldn't see him.
Oh really? Oh wow.
And the other night, Kenny doing the NFL draft show, it looked like, you know, much darker than what
Yeah.
you have there. It looked like Kenny was taking naps too, by the way.
Oh wow.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just
Well,
saying.
you guys sort that out.
He
I'll
went
stay out of it.
quiet for a little while, and I'm like, Kenny, you still there?
Oh my goodness.
But we have such a great show today. We have a guest, and I don't know if I'm going to say his last name right, so I'm sure he can correct me when he comes on. Nate
Mhm.
Washer. So he is from Septile Games, and they got a brand new game that's about to hit Kickstarter in a couple of months. And I got to test play this game, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
That's cool.
So I'm excited about that. So we're going to learn about a new game, and we still have some topics later.
We do.
And you've got something for the top 10 cities to live in
I
and
have a
visit.
top 10. Yeah, it's
Yes.
in my travels of YouTube, I watch all kinds of geographical stuff. And I watch a lot of top 10 lists of like cities you would never want to live in, cities that you. And this was cool because it was kind of like a cities that you would live in as opposed to just visit that have set up a nice area to actually move into. So anyway, that's
pretty nice. That's pretty neat, right? It's something that everybody can actually use the information.
Oh, unlike most of the things I say, yes, they can use the information.
Right.
I know.
No. Look,
Ron, I know
you're
what you're
keeping us
saying.
updated on this potential serial killer thing. So
it's been a little...
we get those updates. That's important information.
Yes.
Important.
It is. A little scary. But
yes,
education, you can't go wrong with what you know, what you need to know,
no.
But this is a Rhode Island show, like all through and through, right? Like we're just all three
we
Rhode
are
Islanders.
both from Rhode Island. Our guest is from Rhode Island, so this is pretty neat. It's very rare that we have an all Rhode Island thing here.
I got my Rhode Island sweatshirt on today. I'm ready to go.
It's great. It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I also have, of course, Ron's top 5 tonight. I don't know if Kenny's going to be happy about this one, but he's never happy about any of them.
Well,
whether they're perfect or not.
I think you want him to not be happy because it's more fun.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I love when he starts shaking his head, disrespect, you know? I I love it. It
Yeah.
just makes me feel better. I'm just disappointed who that Ira isn't feeling well today, so he is out. Normally
Yeah.
he'd be in this seat,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
But he is out because he's not feeling well, so he may miss today's top 5, and that's disappointing because most of the times he doesn't like it.
Well, how about if
So
you want, I'll not like it so that you don't feel bad about it, so that you don't feel out of place. I'll hate it. I'll be like, "Oh, it's
see, I
terrible."
don't think that you're gonna hate this one.
Okay.
I think you're gonna like this.
I could all right. Well, whatever you want, I'll give you what you want, Ron.
All right, so now you know what we have coming up. You want
Mm.
around for the whole thing, um, but let me introduce now to the guy of the hour, our special guest. Right?
Hey, Ron, before that, did you do the rundown
Can
of
we
where
get
to
him
find
in
us? You
here?
don't have to do that. Oh, I feel an
There
echo.
is Nate. Nate, what? Now, am I saying that? That is not the right. Oh, that's the
No,
title
you
of the
got you
show.
got it right, Ron.
Look,
You got it right. Washer. It's just
it's
like
it's
it's got funky spelling, Washor, but
yes, it was very weird. That's why I was like, am I gonna get this right? But
yeah. That's totally my last name,
Septile
Washer.
Games. Septile Games, you've got a few games that are available for this. Look, I got to play test this thing, and let me tell you, Lena, this game was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And
It's
he has me on record saying that this game is a fun type of chess.
Yep,
very cool.
yep. Got it on record.
Got it on record.
I'm on
Posted in
board
my
for
Instagram and
anything.
everything.
Yep. Anything that's good
Now,
for the brain, I'm on board for that. Yeah.
as you see, I am a board game fan.
Oh yeah.
First
Mhm.
of all, I got it all back there, right?
I can
Now,
never see. Go ahead.
I just think that this game was so clever, Nate. It was so clever. I've been dying to play again.
Sunday.
I've been
Tomorrow.
dying to play. So
Tomorrow.
yes, tomorrow board game day at Untapped Game. I'll give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if you want to try this game in Rhode Island, you want to go to Untapped Games tomorrow, noon to whatever. And Nate is going to be there at some point. I don't know when.
And
Where
try
is
to be
it,
there for the whole
Ron?
thing.
Where's it
I'll be there
located,
noon.
Ron?
It is in Pawtucket on North Main. Actually, it is on Pawtucket Avenue, I believe. Technically,
Okay.
because it's like right in between the split, right on the border.
Yep.
This
But
is
I think
Maine
it's
in
technically
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket Avenue
Okay.
in Pawtucket.
Okay. I know the area.
So if you want to check this out, you got to go. It's fun. It's fun. So now that I've hyped this up, can you let us know like how you started this Septile Games?
Sure. So about 8 years ago, it's a little bit of a sad story, but about 8 years ago, I lost my brother. And he died. He was 8 years younger than I am. And he was, we were very close. And I got very depressed. And then I started researching a lot of physics stuff, a lot of quantum physics stuff, a lot of astrophysics. I've always been really interested in black holes and quarks and like how the universe is made up. And I almost I wouldn't I've always been searching for what's the meaning of life and all that, right? So I got deep into that, and then I also started, I've always been interested in board game design. So I started in earnest at that time to just really kind of design a game. And I started by like literally went to Home Depot. I bought a box of hexagon tiles.
Good
And I
old
started,
Home Depot.
yeah, Home Depot. I bought a box of hexagon tiles. I started like stacking tiles on top of each other, and just I've always been drawn towards like adventure games, like role playing games, things like that. So like Dungeons and Dragons and those kind of games. And I wanted to make something like that, but in a board game and stuff. So I started
Mm.
just moving pieces around, and it was just like a discovery period. And I found out some mechanics that I liked, and I ended up coming up with a design, what I call a septile, which kind of looks like this. This is the newer version. This is the version for quarks. But it played really nice because you can place these next to each other, and they connect with each other nice and easily, and you can have different heights, like level 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have little pieces that move around. And I ended up coming up with a game I called Jaffabit. It never got released as a public thing. I did have it as a print and play for a little while there. You could download the STL files and print it on your 3D printer, because that's how I got started. And I always kind of planned on turning it into a game. I think the game's excellent, but it's a little difficult for people to get into and to really adopt and start playing. So I wanted to come up with a game that was simpler, something that could reach audiences, and I could actually turn into an actual product. Because I wanted to take this love that I have and turn it
Right.
into something that I can share with the world, and play with people, and all that. So I had this love of physics, and I always kind of thought, like, in the back of my mind, like these kind of things, like, it's got 6 different hexagons on the outside, and there's kind of like this thing, I don't know if you know anything about quantum physics, and quarks are like the little bits of matter that make up everything in the universe. They bind together to create protons and neutrons, which, bind together to create the nucleuses of atoms, and et cetera,
I'm a
right? So
nerd, so this is kind of my thing.
cool. So yeah. So quarks, they're all held together with this thing called the color
Mhm,
force.
mhm,
And the color force is, well, if you think of the electromagnetic force, and it has north and south poles, well, the
mm.
color force has, like, I wouldn't call it poles, but it has red, green, and blue poles, in a sense, right? So like red attracts green and blue, but repels red, and vice versa. So for all those 3 different, so I was
Mhm.
like, I really kind of want to like create a game around that idea, and I started creating like little tiles, that I can fit, little tiny tiles, hexagon tiles that I can
These things
fit.
look like the little teeny particles of like brain chemistry to me. You
Totally,
know? Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway.
they're fashioned after like gluons. I was
Mhm.
thinking of, and like the ring kind of aspect of it kind of gives a nod to string
That
theory,
was the
which
thing
Yeah.
that really piqued my interest once you started tying in all the pieces to something that's actual fact.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
That started resonating with me, and I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty neat how he's got it all working together as one function, right?
yeah.
And and Becky says, "Good morning, Nate." So,
Good morning,
so we
Becky.
have Becky out there watching as well.
Thank you. Thank you for
So,
tuning in.
so you got all these things from this, from quantum physics.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know much about quantum
you don't
physics,
have to.
obviously,
You don't
but
have to play the game.
it works well together as
Mhm.
a functional game, and the pieces really did fit nice. I do have to say that.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, boiling it all back, it comes back to my brother. A lot Losing my brother kind of put me in the direction of finding my meaning, and now I want to share it with the world. So the game is called Quarks. It's coming out July 30th. It's a tile matching game. You match colors, red, green, and blue. And you create chains of the same colored tiles. And then I'll give you a quick image of the game. So like this is the game board with
Mhm.
an ongoing game.
Yep.
So you've got all these different, the white things are called quarks. You can pick them up, turn them around, place it back on the board. And every turn somebody pulls out of a draw bag, like, so you do a blind pull. You pull out a
Mhm.
color, red, green, or blue. You place it on a tile, and then you rotate the tile that you place it on, or a different tile, depending on the color that you put down, red, green, or blue. And then and you rotate it either clockwise or counterclockwise, and then you score points. And you score points by having different tiles of the
Mhm.
same colors connected to each other. So like, if I place this red tile here, I'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for those reds that are connected. And then I'd also get 1, 2, 3 points for those greens that are connected because they're all connected to this one quark here.
Mm.
So it's a little difficult to
Yeah, and
see in this
it
format.
it like looks like there's a lot of things going on the board, but it really was simple. I
Yeah.
mean, you have 3 rules really,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
is counterclockwise, clockwise, and then turn something else,
Yep.
you know, either or. And that's basically it, and you just count up the ones that you match on the place that you place the ring.
Yep.
So it
That's
really
pretty
is
cool.
simple, but yet there's so much strategy involved in where you're putting
Are we
these
brain
things and
spotting
what
with
you're
this
turning.
game? Are we brain spotting with this game?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's good to build the superhighway somehow. This, it looks like sometime in the future we're not gonna have a whole lot of that going on. So this is helpful,
Yeah.
especially for younger kids, right? Because it says 8
Yep.
plus. So,
Yeah, it's 8 plus. Yep.
but it's basic, but I think it makes you think on the back
It
end, which is
does.
kind of
It
cool.
really, really does make you think. It's like, oh, should I turn this? Should I? First off, which tile should I place it on? And
Right?
you got to think like, okay, because if I'm gonna return it, because you place the tile and then you turn it and then you score, right? So it's like, whatever I
You got to
do
think
is gonna
ahead. Yeah.
affect the board, and then I'm gonna score points, and you're affecting the board for everybody because the board is shared. So
Oh,
in
the
and I,
group is it? That's like the group. The what did I have? I'm an IT tech type chick, and we had to do something where we had a group project at the end. Oh,
Oh,
excuse my
dog
dog. That's my
appearance.
Rottweiler.
hey, buddy.
Dogs are always
He's
welcome
doing
on the
his.
show.
Yeah, I got him blurred out
Definitely.
in the background, but you had to you had to depend on the people that just didn't feel like. But when you have a bunch of people together that has to kind of work on the same thing, you have to
Yeah.
say, how do I affect other? Can we kind of get that in life where we are affecting other people
Right.
as well as
That's
ourselves?
another
It's
part
something
of this.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
You have
I
to
like that.
plan ahead,
Yeah.
for what somebody else might possibly
Yes.
do.
Contingency.
Yep.
And that's the hard part
Yeah.
because you might unknowingly give somebody a ton of points depending on
Yep.
what they pull out.
Yep.
But
I love it.
and that's the beauty of this. You're all working on the same thing, but you're
Mhm.
going against other people. so
Yeah.
so that was intriguing to me. So it and then I also love the fact that it was like as the game goes on, there's more and more points up for grabs
Right. Yeah, you're
because the
absolutely
more
right.
tiles you place, obviously there's going to be more connections.
Mhm.
That's right. The start of the game, the points are low, and then they build throughout the game, and then at the end, it just comes to an end. So it cleans up nicely. It's really fast to set up. You literally just take the game board out, you put the quarks on in any arrangement that you want. It doesn't matter. And then you play your game, and then when cleanup is done, you just take all the tiles, the quarks with the tiles on them, just throw them back in your bag, put the bag back in the box along with your game board, and you're done. So yeah.
Yeah, and when I think about the possibilities now, you had mentioned you love, that science stuff, black holes. Those are all things that you can really bring into game making. You
Oh yeah.
know, being a game designer, you look at things a little differently and you try to expand on those things. And you brought this that clearly has a scientific meaning, and people just hearing this might get them interested in what the meaning of these pieces are, with the board, the rings, the whole movement and stuff like that. They might learn something or develop an interest in that down the road as well. So you could be creating a little scientist. It could be a mad scientist, but
Yeah.
it could be a scientist
Nothing would make me happier, Ron. Seriously. Yeah, I always say like if somebody plays my game and they'd never heard of what a quark is before,
Yeah, I
and then
did.
they come out of yeah, and then they come out of this and they now know, and I've accomplished my goal as far as like the science part of it goes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because now I know what a gluon, the quark, and the whole thing is, and so it is good when you're explaining the meaning of the game. It does resonate with a lot of people. There are many people that are interested in science, and this could kickstart, like I said, a teenager into doing something with their life instead of playing video games.
Hope so. Well, there's nothing wrong with video games. I grew up on video games. I love
No, I
video
did
games.
too, but
A little bit of both, you know.
Yeah, 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 definitely. But you got to get your hands dirty, play in the mud too. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. So, all right. So you had mentioned your brother.
Yep,
Now you've also been in the service,
yep.
and I remember you telling me the story about that, and I found that interesting as well. So you've had quite the past.
I've had a life. Yeah, I've lived it. Yeah, I did 6 years in the Army National Guard here in Rhode Island.
Hmm.
Luckily, I never saw combat because I got out before 9/11 occurred. So I'm older than I look. And Yeah, but I really enjoyed my time. I was in the infantry, in the old mountain unit that we no longer have here, but it was a lot of fun. Made a lot of good friends.
Hmm.
A couple of them I still stay in touch with. And that was great. And then I also I've always felt that I needed to like give back to my country, and that was part of it. And then
Hmm.
I also spent well after graduating URI with a computer science degree. I immediately went working for the Navy as a contractor, working for a contracting company, Antion Corporation. And they got bought out by General Dynamics. They're now GDIT. And
Hmm.
As a software engineer, writing code, doing a lot of submarine stuff out of Groton. So did the Army and the Navy, so like did 10 years doing the Navy stuff, 6 years for the Army. So it's and then I'm now working in private industry. I work for a company called PTC, and we do I'm working on a supply chain product called Servigistics. It's a great piece of software, and we're helping like all the major companies that you've ever heard of, like all of them in some way or another, save a lot of money. So doing good work.
Yeah. So with that kind of experience, did that help you create this game?
Oh, for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
in some ways, it sounds like it's doing that. Just creating how the game works.
Strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the
Mm.
engineering mindset, right? Like, thinking things through from an engineering point of view, building blocks, everything has been kind of building up to this, right? So, I'm a software engineer writing code, and I got into, 3D printing, and the game design stuff. Which is a technical field that really interested me, because I always wanted to make stuff rather than just like write code that did things. And but it is code, right? So like in a lot of respect, right? So and then it's all through there, and then
Hmm.
yeah. So it's all built up to where I'm at. So yeah.
Well, can I just say, I'm a military kid, so I was born on Quonset Point.
Oh wow.
I was one of those people that was actually a
Really?
hospital there. Yeah, I was born there. So my mom was in the Navy. My dad was a Marine. Um,
Yep.
so
We thank
that's
them for
really
their
cool.
service.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, but
My
yeah,
dad
I
worked at Quonset Point.
did he? At what
Yeah.
year? Oh, sorry, we don't want to get off topic here, but
Yeah. Good.
It was a while ago.
yeah,
It was a while ago. Probably about 15 years ago, maybe longer.
yeah,
Could have been longer.
yeah,
So I used to build the submarines.
Yeah.
and the ships.
That was a definite different. The base was so much different when I was born, but
So
then, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and so there's like a tie-in because my dad went out to Groton as well to work for General Dynamics out there as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So he started out in Quincy when General Dynamics used to be there.
Rhode
So
Island.
it's
This
interesting
is a
how
Rhode
the
Island
tie-in.
thing.
Small world,
Because it's like
small
Yeah.
this
world.
big, and everybody's
Yeah, I
like
know.
a little postage stamp. So, and we all go,
Yeah,
"Hey, don't I know your your aunts,
yeah,
sisters, neighbors, whatever." But
yeah.
yeah, so I'm extremely respectful to anything military, uh, in that sense. But that's kind of cool. That's very cool. And we're both.
Thanks.
And I know a few programmers, and that's I can't. Always wanted to do that, and it's extremely tedious to sit and look at code. And God bless anyone who does it. It's
Yeah.
such good money, but you really have to notice if there's like a comma in a big page of stuff that's creating a problem with your workflow. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried it and I couldn't do it, but so I got to give you credit for that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I really enjoy coding. There's moments where I get into like what they call a flow state where,
Hmm.
you're coding and everything you write is gold. And then,
Yeah.
you really, the whole engineering mindset comes into play where you have to break problems down. It's not,
Yeah.
you can't think about like, how do I make a game? It's like, how do I make an aspect of a game? And you keep
Yep.
breaking it down into smaller and smaller pieces. It's like when I was in computer science, they said, well, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And they're like,
Right.
okay, take two pieces of bread and take a knife and jelly and peanut butter and put it together. And like, okay, well, explain to me how you actually spread the jelly on the bread. And
It is
like so
like that. It's
you keep breaking
cognitive.
it down into smaller and smaller parts.
Right.
So and
Most
that's game
people
design.
don't you learn at least I have a weird analytical mind, so I'm not as much as I don't want to say I'm not a feeler, but I'm not. Like I'm more.
Yep.
And so to me everything has to be broken down into tiny little granular pieces.
Hmm.
And when you start in computer science, they give you this, they're like, this is a mouse. And you're like, I know it's a mouse. And they're like, yeah, but you have to look at the dynamics of like this one piece. This is your space bar. This whatever.
Yep.
And so you start looking at so you can process things that way because you don't
Yeah. They
do
call it
that.
abstraction,
Right.
like you abstract different things away. I know what my black box does. I know the
Hmm.
details of what's inside that black box, but I don't need to know, from the
Right.
outside perspective, right? So like it becomes like a black box. And I
Right.
build a ton of different black boxes and they all start working with each other. And then you get that piece that,
Hmm.
incorporates all these different black boxes and you put a black box around that. And that's a black box, and like so it's all layers of abstraction.
Yep.
It's
It's a
science.
constant be more specific.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, I think everybody should be more specific, and it drives me crazy because everybody thinks that you know what they mean by whatever they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it can be a
This is
minefield to
true.
walk through some people's conversations. But yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
more specific, the better. The more direct, the better. The
Yeah.
more honest, the better. That's just the way I like it, and that's how this stuff works. I think.
You
Anyway,
gotta
looping
explain
it
it.
back around.
It's like explaining something to somebody that has no idea what you're even talking about,
Kind
even
of
if
have
it's
to.
so simple as
Yeah.
like a safety pin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's really hard.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I have friends who teach the cognitive therapy, and like that's the stuff where somebody has brain injury
Yeah.
and stuff like how do I get up and brush my teeth every day? Yeah, it sounds
Brain
silly
injury.
to have to break that down for somebody, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have to know from square one what to do from getting up and walking in the whole bit, stuff you don't think about. So it's kind
Yep.
of
Yeah.
interesting. Anyway,
Yeah. No.
Absolutely. I'm gonna throw up this QR code. So if anybody wants to find out more, get on the website, and keep track of this game because I'm telling you, you're gonna love this. And like I said, if you're in Rhode Island or in the Rhode Island area, Massachusetts, Connecticut, listen, it is worth the trip to get up to Untapped Games in Pawtucket, Rhode Island on Pawtucket Avenue and and get there to play this game. I'm telling you, it's going to take you literally seconds to figure out this game and to play it, and you'll be able to try it first before supporting on Kickstarter July 30th. So get on there. You got the QR code right there, which is pretty neat. I'm kind of jealous, like I said before the show. That looks pretty neat. So septile, explain the septile concept as well, because I mean I know what it is, but
Sure.
some
So
others might not.
yeah. So septile games. The septile basically means 7 tiles because sept in is means
Sep-
7. It's the root of the word, and then tile is a tile, right? So I just kind of took the two and threw it together. But if you take a look at a septile, right? There's 7 spaces. There's 1, 2, 3 around 6 around the sides, and then the center space. This is what I would call like a special septile because it's got a center post instead of an actual tile in the center. But my original game, Japhobit, actually had 7 different tiles just all around, and that's where the name comes from. So it's just 7 tiles, 7 tile games.
Pretty simple. Now you've obviously have 3 games derived from this one piece, right?
Yep.
Can we expect more in the future with the same tiles?
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. I'm working on like 3 different games right now. Just some of them are in just like brainstorm phases. As I said, I'm really into role playing games. I'm into 4X games like explore. Was it explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate games? So I'm working on one of those. I'm working on a game. It's a very popular game by another company in Rhode Island that you all have heard of before. It's similar. It plays out on this kind of board. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with
I
it.
think I know who
Just
that is, but I'm not going to say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
love their
won't say it.
games.
I won't give them a plug.
Yeah.
Played
Let
that
them
game when I was a
sponsor the
kid.
show.
Tons. Loved that
Yeah.
game.
Well, I'll tell you, like we had talked about, we met, last weekend, last Saturday, actually, in
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
And we started talking, and then we ended up, play testing this game there. And I'll tell you, it's one of those games that you bring with you to these kind of board game events, and it will be played because of just for the simple fact that when people are waiting for others to arrive, this could be like a quick little game, and it what 15-20 minutes,
yeah. 20 minutes. Yeah, usually about 20
and
minutes.
it's
Yeah,
Mm.
and being that fun to play it, it's a given. It should be like a staple at all these board game events, and you're gonna have people coming in trying this thing, and they're gonna love this. They're gonna love this. It's hard not to,
yeah,
because I like relate this game to chess, but I'm not a chess fan. I think the game is too slow and boring for me. But this was not boring. This was a fun, quick game, that really gets the brain ticking, and the strategy involved in it was great. Nate, I'm like gaga over this game. So I
Um,
can't wait.
I think Ron's in love.
Yeah, July 30th.
hey, I
I'm
am
going
too.
to be on that Kickstarter, and I have never supported a game on Kickstarter before, so it'll be new to me.
Awesome.
But I will definitely
Appreciate your
be
support.
supporting this one.
Yeah,
So,
this is what the box is going to look like. It'll be a little bit
which
different
is
than this. It's not going to say
nice.
demo copy on it, but
Hmm.
it's yeah, it's 2 to 3 players, 15 to 30 minutes, usually around 20, 8 plus. Quarks, the board game. Yeah, so
I think it could even go younger than 8, to be honest with you.
yeah, I could. I've played it with a couple 6-year-olds, and they've
Yeah,
gotten it. Once they understand the concept of clockwise and counterclockwise, they're really old enough to play it.
yeah, yeah. So, look, first, Lena, do you have any more questions for him?
I think I'm still trying to process everything I already learned. But that's cool. There's so much. I was just like looking through. Well, actually, I think he kind of ran through everything so far that we have for information. So, yeah,
Well,
we want to make sure
hopefully
people have
people get
access to
on
that,
there.
though.
I hope people get on there and are interested in this. Like I said, come down to Pawtucket, Rhode Island tomorrow, sometime afternoon at Untapped Games. He's going to be there showing the game. You will want to be there to check this out.
Yeah, I'll be there
For
like noon
sure.
to 4, for sure. Yeah, I got a little appointment at 5 o'clock, but be there from noon to 4.
All righty. See, there we go. So
Awesome.
thank you again, Nate, for coming on. Nate Washer from Septile Games. You can go to Facebook at Septile Games. The website is septile.games, or you can just click right on this
Yep.
QR code
Hold your
thing.
camera.
Not click, I guess it's take the photo thing.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So if
Just
I was
pick
to
your
do
phone
it,
and
just...
Yep. So
and Instagram is the one
Ron
I have
has had an
most
interesting guest
followers
on today, and I'm sort of flabbergasted by this. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Look at it. No, this is
thank you.
good. This is good.
So thank you, Nate, so much. I appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Hopefully, everything goes well, and just keep on creating, man, because
Definitely.
this is great. I love
Will
it,
do.
especially somebody here in Rhode Island
Yes.
finally contributing something to my life.
Oh,
Awesome.
really?
Glad
Come
to
on
hear
now.
it.
Wow. All this
No,
time
no,
you've
no.
gone.
Present company excluded. No,
No, I'm
don't
not
think
talking
that.
about me. I'm just saying, geez, Ron, all this time, no, not in one person. I'm just
Well,
kidding. I'm trying to. My sense of humor today is not landing
as I
right.
just
It's all right.
I just got all my Christmas cards from Rhode Island canceled. I have a bad habit of losing Christmas cards. So
Okay.
all right. Well, thank you, Nate, for being here. Hopefully we get to see you again soon. Thank you so
Definitely.
much.
Definitely.
Thank you, Ron,
It was
Lena, for
great.
your support. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
We had a good time.
So, see, a Rhode Islander creating something that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Listen.
This whole time I have not been able to see the chat. So I have no idea if anybody's even out there other than Becky.
I'm not seeing anything either. So
So
is it malfunctioning today?
I guess so.
Oh,
so
Lord.
I'm gonna want my dollar back from Restream for this.
Well, I'll tell you, if you want, I'll kick 50 cents in for you. And then I want my 50
No, I
cents
want
back.
them to pay me the dollar per day, So it's not working today, so I want my dollar.
Oh my goodness. Well, I had questions for people for the topic I have, so I'm not going to know if they're answering them.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
have
okay.
no idea.
That's all right. I guess we'll just
I
have
have
to
no idea.
hope they leave us comments afterwards, and
I know there's some people watching.
come back in and
Yeah.
look at them later,
So,
maybe.
so yeah, I mean, yesterday I spent some time looking at some comments from people on the shows and stuff like that. So
Everybody liking the show?
yeah, they like it.
Good.
Yeah,
Like the guests and the topics and anything anybody wants to
yeah.
kick in for something we could talk about,
Yeah, we had most of it was like great show, stuff like that. I love the topics, So we do get the post live comments out there. So please, by all means, we had one from Thailand.
Oh wow.
A former Rhode Islander.
You're
living
getting
in
all the
Thailand.
stats on the watchers. Like, what are some of the areas that are like tuning into this? Like, and
Sao
what's our
Paulo.
numbers, man?
Sao Paulo is one of our most watched cities.
Wow.
Sao
That's crazy.
Paulo.
This little show in Rhode Island. Wow.
So we have Istanbul on there.
That's kind of cool.
And the Philippines are very much part of the fabric of our viewers. And
That's
of
pretty
course,
cool.
Providence, Rhode Island is the bigger city.
I mean, it
You
makes
know,
sense. It makes sense. I mean, it
yeah,
comes out of Rhode Island, so we're gonna see it not a lot of New England. I would
yeah,
hope.
yeah.
So
Because
that makes
it's
sense.
like people on my friends list, and that's I always share it, so they watch it.
Yep. I do too.
So
I share this on my main page. I'm not sure if anybody, and I have a group of women, probably about almost 12,500 of them, and they're all geeky women, and they're worldwide. So I usually push this video to them too, because
yeah,
especially today, because it was kind of a nerdy kind of thing that they would love. So, and I thought they might
see,
be interested. So we'll see.
it'd be amazing if there was like 50 people there wanting to play this game. That would be pretty cool.
You
That
never
would be pretty
know.
cool.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna talk to them about this later because I think a lot of them are really into that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And so they may be looking to pick this game up.
I may bring my laptop with me
Mhm. Okay.
and possibly could do a show from there.
Okay.
Just jump on, do like 15, 20 minutes, you
A,
know?
a little live thing. Why not? I have a question. How does that work? Can you do that like where you just kind of jump on and it goes to our Facebook, our YouTube, all
Yeah,
of that. It'll
like
is
I
it
have it tied into everything.
so
So
it's
if
not a huge
once I
setup
go
to
on.
do. Okay. Well, that's cool.
No, I can
Should do
just
it.
pop this open. If I can get a connection with my laptop,
Yep.
then I'm good to go. And I've been there so much that I'm sure they would have no problem with me doing something live there.
Oh yeah.
So
They might hand you
so
a
I
here
may
you go.
do that.
Here's a cable. Plug it in, or here's our Wi-Fi. Knock yourself out.
Yep.
I can't see why not.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that could
Very
happen.
nice.
All right. So with that being said, we are going to move on to our next topic if I can find the graphics.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There it is. Look at this. So, top 10 cities to live in, visit,
Yeah.
and the condos are also in there too, as well, correct? If I'm not
Yeah.
wrong?
I got some condo values in here because I thought it was interesting. So I like to relax with my coffee, and I watch a lot of like things about cities. And I have this one show I watch where a guy kind of drives all these little back roads of these little towns and tells you all about the housing values and all that. I find it relaxing. Between that and some other stuff. So I was watching this top 10 list yesterday. This is by a top 10 list on YouTube. And they do all kinds of little things. And I thought this was interesting. Top 10 US cities people would not only visit, but would actually live in. So these cities have set up geography for people to actually move in and live, So here's what this is their list of top 10. You may disagree. You may think there's a city should be on here. So that's for you people listening, watching. Let us know if there's something that you think should be there, or if there's something about these towns that you want to
Can't
talk
wait.
about. So, so number 10 was Greenville, South Carolina,
Yep.
and it is. I've actually
I've been
driven
there.
through it, but I've never been there. It really is like a beautiful city. They've done so
It
much good
is.
work with it. So much green space, so many places to like ride bikes, walk, things like that, kayaking, all kinds of. So the things that you would want to see in Greenfield, South Carolina, or the things that make them exciting about their downtown would be Gaffney Outlet Marketplace, Peace Center Concert Hall, Falls Park on the Reedy, Liberty Bridge, the Greenville Zoo, things like that. The average condo price right now, though, for Greenville is about $570,000. So, yeah, there are people who live right downtown. Obviously, there are condos lower than that and higher than that, but I thought, wow, that's why I'm telling you guys about the condo prices, because I was a little bit floored by some of these prices where I was like, well, this is a great city and I would love to live there, but like I don't think some
Can
of us
afford
can
to
hit
live
this.
there.
Right. So, and it's weird I know maybe it's just me being a nerd, but it's weird to see some of the areas that you would think of are expensive that are actually affordable, and some of the ones that you're like, what? Nobody would want to live here, and they're just like astronomical. So, anyway, number 9 is Tampa, Florida. I have
Oh, okay.
tons of family in Tampa, Florida. They actually have a really, really nice downtown area. They're doing so much good work with it. It's Busch Gardens is the big Florida thing. Obviously, that's not downtown, but that's a thing people go down to Tampa
Mhm.
for. But within walking distance in downtown, you have Florida Aquarium, you have boat day tours, you have 7th Avenue. Anybody who's from Tampa knows what I'm talking about. River Walk, which they're doing a really big. They're setting up this really beautiful area to walk, which is it goes along. I believe. Oh my goodness, is it Hillsborough? But I forget the river that runs along the side in downtown. But there's a really beautiful long walk that you can take through there. So it's really nice for exercising. And then of course I have to throw in Ybor City, which you probably don't want to go there at night. And Barf, and my cousin Scott, who if he's watching, is sometimes the bartender. He lives in Missouri now, but he'll take a trip over there and bartend at Barf, and that's the Bay Area Renaissance Festival that happens every year in Tampa. So the medium condo on that is, or the price for medium, or what do you call it? Median average is
Yeah.
$330,000.
That's not too
So
bad for Florida.
right for Tampa, because it's a beautiful area with the exception of the hurricanes that go through, but that's all of Florida, right?
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
recommend going on that river walk during a hurricane.
no, no, but I mean,
Don't
when
recommend
you
it.
think about what's really downtown, and when you see both sides of Tampa, because there's a downtown Tampa, and there's something on both sides of the river there, so it's an extended downtown. It's really not bad for the price. You never have to leave the area. So, and I think there's a ton of transportation. You don't even have to have a car down there. But anyway, moving on. San Diego, California was number 8.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's actually a really pretty area. I've never been,
Yeah.
but it's probably one of, if you're gonna go to California, it's probably one of the better areas to be.
I keep getting ads
Yeah,
for San Diego. Like,
really.
I don't know if I've ever typed in the words San Diego, but I
This is
might
yeah,
have because of the sports show, and I just keep
yeah.
getting constant ads for me to go to San Diego.
I think it's a sign. I think you should go. Um, here's here are some of the attractions. The San Diego Zoo, which
Oh,
everybody
I
loves to
would
go to, right?
love to go there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Oh,
amazing. I've
that
never
is the
been.
number one thing I'd like to do in San
Right.
Diego.
I mean, and a lot of this stuff for these people that live there is just stuff I'm sure people that live in these cities don't go to these attractions because they live there.
Probably not.
But I'm just saying these are the things within walking distance if you're downtown. Balboa Park is down there. The USS Midway is down there.
Wait,
The
Balboa Park? Is that about
Balboa.
Rocky or
No,
is it
no, it's just I thought the same thing, but no, that's just the name of it. It's sort of like a botanical garden park area. Um, South Dakota SeaWorld is San Diego, South Dakota. I see SD and I say South Dakota because I need coffee.
it'd be an
San Diego
interesting place to
SeaWorld
put
is there.
South Dakota
Ron's like, wait a
SeaWorld.
minute, what? Are we still in San Diego? I just anyway, I abbreviated it because I didn't feel like typing it out, and so that's what I get for doing that.
Yeah,
So yeah, San Diego SeaWorld is there, which would be the sister
SeaWorld
to
is
the
fun.
Providence SeaWorld. I mean, what would we be nice if we had a Providence SeaWorld? The Tampa SeaWorld or
Be nice
the
if we had
Orlando
anything.
SeaWorld. And so number 7 is Cincinnati, Ohio.
Really?
It's a very big sports area, I believe, but they have an art museum. They got Zoo and Botanical Gardens, Cincinnati Art Museum, Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens. Great American Ballpark is there,
Oh, okay.
which
Cincinnati
is pretty
Reds.
big tourist attraction. Rail tours. We got museums of history there, and it's a pretty affordable area. $265,000 is an average
Oh,
condo
that's
there,
pretty good.
and that's not
That's pretty
bad.
good.
So moving along, I don't want to take too long. Nashville, Tennessee is number 6. And
Really?
Nashville, Tennessee is actually much more than the country music that you see. I mean, there's actually a ton. I have friends that live in that area. There's a ton of hiking and
Yeah.
green areas. It's like beautiful places to go if you want to kayak. I mean, there's a bunch of the Cumberland Rivers there. There's a bunch of buildup that they've done to the Nashville area that's beautiful
See, I would have
beyond
thought this
Broadway.
was going to be higher.
Well, Nashville, I don't know why, but yeah, it's
Surprised.
in the middle. The condo prices there about 500,000,
Oof.
so it's a little
Oof.
steep. But if you've ever been to Nashville, which I've been 3 or 4 times, I mean, you really don't have to go anywhere. You'll never have to leave that area. for anything.
Wow.
So you got the Opry, you got the Rhine, you
Right.
got the Broadway bars and restaurants down there, you got the Country Music Hall of Fame. And a quick fun fact, 3-foot rule. Pedestrians must walk on a sidewalk or a shoulder if there's one available, but if not, they can use up to 3 feet of the roadway. That is an ordinance in Nashville, Tennessee.
Whoa.
If a driver wishes to pass the pedestrian, he or she must maintain a 3-foot distance. That is an ordinance that you can go to court and
Oh, they
fight.
don't do that here in Rhode Island, that's for sure.
No, they do not. They'll just hit you.
You're lucky if you're not hit.
Yeah, they'll just hit you here. If you're lucky, if you'll even find out whoever did it.
And that's
if
being
they
on the
do-
sidewalk.
I know. Yeah, they don't. They do. They jump the sidewalk around here.
Yep.
So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is number 5.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're building it up supposedly, but there's a ton of like sports. It is a huge sports area, and so I guess that
you got
brings
the
on a lot of
Steelers,
people.
you got the Pirates, you got the Penguins.
Right. So there you go. I didn't even have to say that because I was about what I was going to list that off. But those are the 3 things in the sports in that area that are huge. Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. You got Lake Erie and Lake Erie type things. You've got like activities around that that go on, and then you have Southside, which is supposed to be the biggest area there with the bars and restaurants, and that's $317,000 on an average for condo, which
Okay.
isn't terrible, right?
No, it's
Not bad
terrible.
for especially being number 5. Cleveland, Ohio is number 4, which I thought was odd.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, according to these people. Again, you may disagree. So there's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Metro Park Zoo, Progressive Field, West Side Market, which is sort of like in Seattle, you got that marketplace with where you can buy all kinds of food, and so it's like that. 467.5 for an average condo there. 467.5. All right.
That's kind of high for Cleveland.
It is. But
I mean, look, I'd like to go see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I mean, outside of that, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like. I would much rather. I would think that Nashville would have been higher than Cleveland.
I know.
I didn't expect to hear Cleveland on this list. Period.
I know. There were a couple that I didn't see on this list that I thought I would, and there are a couple on the list that I'm surprised that they were there. So that's why I thought it was interesting as well. Number 3 is Seattle, Washington. With Seattle, you got the Space Needle, you got the Pike Street Marketplace, you got the Woodland Park Zoo. Seattle's a beautiful place. You've got kayaking.
Seattle, I thought was going to be up there,
Yeah.
and this is nice.
Right.
I almost put the Seattle.
Yep.
On the graphics.
Oh.
I almost did that.
You didn't do it? Oh.
I didn't do it. I went with this one because I like the night lights and stuff like that, and I went with that.
Is that New?
I'm sorry I didn't put Seattle.
Is this New York? I think that building right there is New York, right?
Yeah, I believe it is New York.
Which, by the way, is not on the list.
No, I didn't expect New York to be on the list.
It's nothing but rats and trash. No, that's not true. So number 2 was Boston, Mass.
I like that.
I like that too.
My home state.
We got all kinds of stuff in Boston, but of course we know more than most people about what's there. So I took a little bit of stuff
Boston's
here.
Beautiful.
We got Fenway, of course. We got the Philharmonic.
The Harbor.
Yeah, we got the Harbor. We got the Duck Boats. We got the North End, right? And then there's a ton of tours. There's like the Freedom Tour and all kinds of things that go on in Boston.
All kinds of stuff.
I mean, I could have really honestly did paragraphs of stuff for Boston.
Daniel Hall.
Yep, Daniel Hall, Quincy Market, all kinds of stuff.
Have you been to the Museum of Science? Oof, that is so awesome there.
I have. I've been there, and I've been. What's right next to that? There's something right next to that that's scientific. I can't think of it right now, but I did both on one day, and it was really. I've gone to a couple times to these things, and they're pretty cool. Anyway, Boston is going to be anywhere from 3. I don't know why, but I couldn't get one average price. I set it up as like about 600,000. However, it depends on what part of Boston you're in. If you're in Back Bay, if you're in Seaport, if you're in, it goes from like 300,000 to like 3.3 million, because there's all these skyscrapers and condos in downtown Boston that are ridiculous money. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get a good average. Number 1 is Chicago, Illinois.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah. I thought I
I'm
kind of was
surprised.
too. What we would normally see because it's actually pretty affordable. But Wrigley Field's there, the Art Institute of Chicago's there, Navy Pier is there. The whatever the heck that waterway is that I can't think of right now that
Is it the
they
Sears Tower there too?
the Sears Tower. What is it that they dye every year there? I didn't write that down, but the big waterway there that everybody runs around in Chicago. Um, but anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
395,000 for an average at Chicago, Illinois, which isn't bad for a city
That
like
isn't
that.
bad
I
for
didn't think so.
Chicago.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty
Wow,
good for an average. I mean, I'm sure you could find stuff that's way more
that's
expensive than
pretty
that, but
decent.
so that's the list. I mean, if you think if you're watching this, you think that there should be somebody on the list or something on the list that I didn't list or that
I'm
wasn't part of
disappointed
it.
Newport, Rhode Island isn't on this list.
I I mean, Newport, Rhode Island is great to go see, but would you want to live there?
Well, I'm like the
I mean,
next
unless
town over, so
if
yeah.
somebody's picking up the tab for you to live there, all you would be doing is pick
Just
is rentals for like uh one of the colleges. You'd be
I don't
doing
know. Like
roommates and
I
on
mean, you're
America's
in
Cup.
Newport. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a stone's throw to the ocean.
right.
And if you buy one of those mansions, then you'd be right on the ocean.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, can we afford that? I mean, what are those mansions?
I
Two
can't,
million?
but
You want to go
you
get something on
know,
Bellevue Avenue? That's
I mean, why
well,
not, right? If I
I
hit the
guess.
lottery.
Yeah, but I think
But
about living there
Newport is
as an
pretty
everyday
nice.
thing. It's not cheap to just live there full time. It's more of a, hey,
I
let me
don't
live in
know.
Warren and
It's
take a drive
cheaper than
over.
going to Nashville,
That's true. I don't know.
and you're
I
right
guess it
on the
depends.
ocean.
Yeah, you are. You are. It's better than a river. I would say
Of
that, but
course, 10 years from now, it could be underwater for all we know, but that's besides the point.
that's true. I think most of Rhode Island might be, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Everybody, chime in when you get this, when you're done,
That's pretty
when you have
neat.
a
That
minute,
was
and
I love lists like that.
yeah,
That is
I kind of did
dynamite.
that for you, and I think you think you get sick and tired of the true crime coming from me or the
Yeah,
technology.
and
I
you
did a
look,
technology one, and that might have been a little bit nerdy
no,
for
it's great
you
to
know.
do topics that are light,
Right.
and I'm going to keep it light
Good.
because it is time for Ron's top 5. I got a great one for you.
Okay.
Great one. We haven't even done any advertising today.
I know. What?
Did nothing for
I was
advertising.
asking you
So
that when we first started, and I was like, well, I don't want to kill the flow, but I was like, hey,
yeah, I haven't put up like the links where you can
right.
find you. So where can we find you other than TikTok?
You can find me, you can find me on Love and Life with Lena and Dave, and that would be www.lenaanddave.com. On Facebook, I would be DJ Lena Williams. It's Lena DJ Lena Williams. I'm not stuttering. It's in there twice. In on
Oh, it is.
IG,
Okay.
yeah, it's literally there twice. It's a crazy thing, but that's the only way they would let me do it. I'd say look for me there, or you just DJ Lena, DJ dot or DJ space Lena. If you
You'll
Google
find me.
that, you'll find me.
You'll find
Yeah,
me. It's also
and
on
you?
the credits at the end of the show.
Yes.
So you can get that there too as well. So I might as well run through these real quick. You can find us live at Facebook at RI Broadcasting. You can find us
Mhm.
on YouTube live at Rhode Island Broadcasting, and of course also Twitch at RI underscore broadcasting. So
Yep.
you can find the videos of the show there even after you if you missed it live.
Yeah.
Twitch has it up there for 2 weeks. Facebook has the live show up there for a month. So that you can watch the videos. YouTube has it forever. So so I would suggest go on YouTube and
Yeah.
subscribe to us there, and share the videos. If you really want to help, though, you can get on Patreon at RI Broadcasting. You get great merch like this mug here.
Yep. I mean,
So get yourself a mug, support the
it's a
show.
one of a kind is what it is.
Well, I mean, there's more than one.
There's more than one, but it's the only one of its kind, even if there's 300 of them.
Yes. Yes.
That look
You
like
know,
that.
so
You're not gonna get that.
so
You're gonna get that in some drugstore somewhere. You're not gonna get that
No.
in some department store somewhere.
No.
I said drugstore and department store. Does that make me sound old?
Maybe.
Does anybody call it those anymore? Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay.
Pharmacies.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to this top 5. This is a great one. Do you like Kevin James?
Sometimes. Sure.
Happy birthday, Kevin James.
Wow. It's his birthday today. How old is he?
Today. I don't know. I didn't look that deep into it,
Okay.
to be honest with you.
But
he's a funny man. He's a funny man. So I think he's hilarious. So I decided to do Ron's top 5 Kevin James movies and TV shows.
Okay. Sounds good.
So it's gonna have both. So it's like bonus. It's not just movies, it's also TV.
I know. What's
bonus? So he has been in many things, including Pixels, Sandy Wexler. He was even on Everybody Loves Raymond as Doug Heffernan.
Okay.
And he was also on Cosby as Doug Heffernan.
Really?
And also the TV show Becker, which I loved with Ted Danson. That was a great show. He also was Doug Heffernan on that show as well.
That's so weird.
The man has been Doug Heffernan on 4 TV shows.
That's weird. I never knew that. That's so who would know
Isn't
that?
that crazy?
What a strange fact. Interesting.
He was also in Don't Mess with the Zohan, Adam Sandler. He's been with Adam Sandler a lot.
Yeah. I think Adam Sandler brought him into a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The Dilemma. But here are my honorable mentions. 50 First Dates, which to me, I love this movie. It probably would be number 1 if not for the fact that he only played a little bit part in it.
Yeah.
He was the factory worker, which was a great movie. Love this movie. But because he was only a little part, I put it as an honorable mention.
Okay.
I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That movie was really good.
Yep.
So I loved it. He played a fireman, and they had to pretend they were gay to
get health insurance.
Yeah.
So,
honorable mention. Barnyard. Honorable mention. He did the voice in one of the animals in Barnyard. The movie was fantastic. I loved it.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And Grown Ups. Honorable mention. I love the movie. Love the movie.
I don't think I've seen it. I really don't.
A lot of people say it's not that good, but you have to know the nostalgia of it.
Okay.
That was the base of this kind of movie.
Okay.
Did not put Grown Ups 2. He was in that as well. But on the borderline, it was number 6. Hotel Transylvania. He played Frankenstein.
I don't think I saw that one either.
That's the Adam Sandler cartoon.
Oh, okay. Cartoon.
Where
Yeah,
he
that's
was
fine.
Dracula.
I gotcha. Oh.
And Kevin James was Frankenstein.
See that? I did not know that.
See? I didn't know
I'm
that
learning
either
some stuff today. I'm learning. This whole show has been learning for me.
All right, that was my bubble. That was the bubble.
Okay.
Hotel Transylvania. Great movie. I did not care for the 2nd and 3rd. And probably 4th. I'm assuming they had more.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen any of them.
Number 5.
Okay.
And I love this movie. I think it was funny. Zookeeper. Do you remember that one?
Yep, I do.
It was funny.
But it's
Him with the animals.
It's been a while.
It's a laugh. It's a laugh. So I love that one. But the one with this guy right here, Paul Blart, Mall Cop. Oh my God,
that's one of his big ones. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was
Definitely.
hilarious.
It was.
I loved it. And I loved the second one too.
I don't
You
think I
know,
saw the second one.
it was good. He goes
Yeah.
to some convention, and it's like it was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
Okay. I'll have to go check it out. Anyway.
Number 3. Here Comes the Boom, which is our title for today's show.
Oh,
And
no
I had to
idea.
do it because I love this movie.
Yep.
He's a teacher and he does the wrestling bit for, to help out the school, I'm guessing,
Okay.
and the whole bit. And I just thought it was a cute movie. It was really good with the kids and it was hilarious. I loved it. So Here Comes the Boom. I have number 3.
Okay. Fair
Number
enough.
2, I have Hitch.
I was waiting for Hitch.
And
Hitch is the best.
he
Yeah.
stole the
Yeah,
show.
he did. He really did. I
He
mean,
was absolutely hilarious in this movie.
yeah.
It didn't even matter that Will Smith was in the movie. It was
It did to
really
me.
not about Will Smith to me. It was all
Yeah.
about him.
But
Kevin
he
James
really
was
was good.
just funny.
Yeah, he was amazing. I'm sure
I
that's where he got
I'm
most of
actually
his.
got flashes of the movie going
He's
through my
got most
head
of his.
now.
I bet
It's
you he
just
got a
like,
ton of work off that movie for sure. For sure.
oh god.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But number 1 definitely had to be the King of Queens.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious as
I
Doug
agree.
Heffernan in his actual role. Him and what's his name? Jerry Stiller.
Yes. I'm a Leah Remini fan, and
I
for
like her.
a lot of reasons, having to
Yeah,
do with
I
everything
like her.
she's doing to
My
take down
mom hated her.
Scientology and
Couldn't
everything else.
stand her.
I love her for a bunch of reasons that's not related to her working in on TV or in films. But that's why I like Kevin James, because by adjacency, he was her husband on that show, and
Yeah.
they did so well together for whatever reason. It was
They
just
were
really
great
good.
together.
It was really good.
It's one of those casts that was just casted perfectly.
It was.
You know,
They just clicked. Yeah.
Everything just worked.
Yep.
There's not too many shows that just work like that. The chemistry is there.
Not
You
at
go
all.
back to Cheers. You go back to
Friends.
Seinfeld. Those
Yep.
shows, it just worked.
Yep.
And the chemistry there was just fantastic. And he was
Absolutely.
hilarious on that show. The stupid husband that tries to get away with everything,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it works.
Yep. It is a formula in Hollywood for sure.
Absolutely.
But
so that was number 1 for me. Now, I did see Kevin Can Wait. I think a lot of the stuff in that one was forced.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Because he was so funny, and it's like they tried to make it King of Queens without being King of Queens.
Right. Nope, I have
And I
not
think
seen
that
that
was
yet.
forced.
I did hear about it though. I have
Yeah,
not seen it.
so-
All right. I'll take your word for that.
So, yeah,
I like
that was
it.
the list.
That was a good top 5.
See?
Had a lot of good.
See?
Had a
And
lot
I
of
don't
substance
know-
to it.
I don't know if anybody is commenting, so I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you. I couldn't
Hey
tell you.
everybody, we hope you're paying attention and talking to
So,
us. We can't.
I mean, there's people watching.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing maybe there are some comments there. I don't know. But if you are watching, thank you for being here.
Yes.
We're just about. I mean, we are done. We just got to wrap it up and get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I can't find next episode. There it is.
Monday. Yeah.
So Monday it'll be Martin Blanco.
Okay.
Coming in, and I will be with Martin again. So I can't wait for that.
And Martin. The Ron and Martin Show Monday.
Ron's pretty good. I love his topics.
I
love his topics.
I say if I can, I try to watch all of his stuff just because he's knowledgeable. Like he actually pulls out some serious information.
He blew my mind with the Doors.
I call them info dumps.
Didn't see that coming.
Wow.
Didn't see that coming.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be a
It
different
was
version
good.
of that, and it was the Doors, and I was floored.
Yep.
Floored. That just goes to show you what this man knows, you know.
It's great. I love
So
it.
I can't wait till Monday to be with Martin again. Next week though, Lana, you'll be back with Ira.
Yes.
You know, so
Next
Ira's
Saturday.
fantastic as well. Everybody on the show is fantastic. You know,
Yeah. So
we
far, I
have like
love
the
it.
perfect crew. Perfect crew. So
We're all clicking. We're all clicking.
absolutely.
You know.
So it was a pleasure being here with you, Lena.
You too, Ron.
Until Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7 if you're out in Seattle, and of course 8 if you're in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.